Welcome to Toffee TV. It is my three talking points. Everton 1, Newcastle United 4 at Hill Dickinson Stadium, and Everton crashing to a heavy defeat with a performance that was comfortably the worst of the season. And that's quite a feat, given, Leeds' performance was bad and Wolves in the cup, but for me, that was comfortably the worst performance. Miles off it, straight off it from the first whistle. Had a decent 15 minutes before that petered out, and then that was it, really. And so disappointing, so disappointing. And coming off the back of a really positive result, people had thought maybe this is a little bit of a catalyst, not to achieve Champions League football, anything like that, but a catalyst to sort of kickstart the season, really get us, are we going to be operating in a much higher position? But that's give everyone a big slap in the face today, and there's really tough fixtures coming up, and it's just such a deflating result, isn't it? Like I said in my match reaction, I can't have any complaints with the result in terms of fairness or whether we deserved anything out of it. We didn't. Newcastle were a better team. You have to say that. You take your medicine, don't you? They deserved it. They were sharper. They defended better than we did. They wanted to win, and they took the chances. We couldn't score 4 goals if they'd had 9 men. That's how it looks. It just looks like we don't have goals in us, and we don't. We don't. So it's a real tough one now, I think, going into a busy period with really difficult games. We're going to have to maybe grind a couple of games out, and we're going to have to play a different style at home. We really are. We're going to have to think of a different way to play than what we've done tonight, because it hasn't worked. And we play Forest at home next Saturday, and that'll be tough as well. So, and not to mention the trip to Bournemouth on Tuesday night. The first thing I want to talk about is the defence, which is really poor tonight. It was terrible. It really wasn't. They are better than what they've shown tonight, but that 2 out the last 3 home games, we conceded 7 goals, which is just absolutely shocking. And if we were torn to pieces by those teams and we were hanging on and everything, you could sort of go, okay. But Newcastle had nothing in the first half in terms of cutting us open, and yet they scored 3 goals, 2 off corners, 1 directly off a corner, the other one the ball kept alive, and then the third was a breakaway. You can't be that easy to score against, and we are. Is it Idrissa Gana Gueye not being there? I don't know, but I know we're going to miss him. Like I said, I think in my match reaction, there was a few people, even on our show the other day, in the comments talking about they're glad it wasn't Michael Keane that got the red, but it was Idrissa if one was going to be sent off, because we'd miss Keane more, which is an absolute nonsensical thing to say in my eyes. Garner's our best midfielder by some distance, and when he's not there, there's no energy in that midfield. The amount of time he nicks the ball back and pickpockets it, we just don't have people who move around the pitch like he does either, and it's a big blow, and we don't have any protection in front of the back 2 defenders either. So there's a real worry there, but defensively, the 2 fullbacks offer us very little going forward. Mykolenko has had a good season, in all fairness, but he was off it today. Jake O'Brien has done a steady job, but he was nowhere near it today. He had a really poor game for him, and he's done a good job at right back. And I know, listen, you have these nights, and it was one of them nights where I think everybody was off it. And the manager will have to look for reasons why that is, because all of them were way off it. And but I just don't think we're a strong unit. When we're trying to go forward, it's too easy to counter-attack us. And yet we defended with our lives on Monday, which was incredible, an incredible performance. But I just think tonight they were miles away from it, and we need Branthwaite back as soon as possible for pace and for the passing ability that he brings. But it's a real worry going into some other tough games. If we're going to defend like that, you can't see many points over the next 5 games if that's how we're going to defend. Now, okay, let's hope that that's an anomaly. But we let 3 in against Spurs, which was shocking. 4 against Newcastle is outrageously bad. when it's the goals, the quality of goals that they scored tonight. It's really bad from our perspective. So loads of work to be done on that defence, because that just was nowhere near the level. And when the four defenders aren't having good games, you need Jordan to have a good game, and he didn't have a good game either. So maybe they had a cup of tea that was unlucky or something, or was a bit off, because every one of them was miles off it. The second thing I want to talk about is the performances of Dewsbury Hall, because I think he's been really, really good lately, and he was man of the match again for me tonight. He was the only sort of one trying to make us play. He's had probably like more complete games, but I thought he was the only one in midfield really who got us playing. He scored an absolutely brilliant goal. He kept running here, there and everywhere. But we've got to have more than him. But I just wonder, with the way we're playing him, if he would be better just a little bit deeper. Now, I know that when Alcaraz came on, he did, and that's ironically where he got the goal from, running from deep, making that run. I just think the makeup of that midfield. But he's such a good footballer that I think the best outcome now for us is to have him almost alongside James Garner. James Garner's got to take some responsibility in this midfield as the defensive midfield player, as the number 6, and do that, which allows Dewsbury Hall to be busy. And I think we're going to have to go with Alcaraz. I think Irabunum in there just right now, that makeup hasn't quite worked. Certainly didn't work today. And Tim's done really well when he's come on and got about it well. But I think maybe for the team, for energy and the team moving forward, maybe Alcaraz is the shout for now. But then, you've got a difficult game of going away at Bournemouth, which is a real tough one on Tuesday. But certainly at Hill Dickinson, we've got to be on the front foot. We've got Forest next week, who were quick on the counter-attack. But if we go and sit back, then I still think they're going to cause us problems. If we're too deep, we have to be energetic and engage the crowd. And we lost the crowd. The team lost the crowd with the second goal. Never got it back. And the fans tried to keep it, get it going again late on. But it was the damage was way done by then. So I think I'd play Dewsbury Hall a little bit deeper and throw Alcaraz in there. Because I think Kieran Dewsbury Hall gets on the ball. I think he gets us playing. He's proven already. It's 3 goals for the season now. Scored a cracker at Old Trafford the other night. Scored a great goal today. Outstanding. Close control and skipped away and took it past the keeper brilliantly. And we want him to make them runs, but I think making them runs deeper actually frees him up a little bit more. And then maybe Alcaraz is the one to get a bit closer to Tierno Barry, who had another promising performance, but not enough where it counts, which is between the sticks. I still do believe we've got to put better crosses in as well. Our crossing, oh my God, our crossing is woeful into the box. But yeah, I'd definitely be looking at playing Dewsbury Hall deeper now, especially while Garner is out the side. And then the third and final one is this run of games. And I'll be honest, it's worried me. I wasn't worried before today. And had that game gone, of course, if we'd have won, it would have felt great. But had that game gone slightly differently, I still wouldn't have been as worried. But just seeing, when you look at the games now, we've got Forest, we've got Bournemouth away Tuesday, then Forest at home Saturday, Chelsea away and Arsenal at home. And they are 4 extremely difficult games, as today was. But when you're looking at it, you're trying to work out like how we're going to approach it. Now, Bournemouth is a terrible ground for Everton, isn't it, in the league? Since they promoted, we haven't won there, have we? I think if we got 1 point there, that's 3-3. I think we've lost every other game there. So it's definitely not a happy hunting ground for us. And then Forest, like I said before, I think they'd be watching. If Sean Dyche watch Newcastle's performance against us, and he'd be quite happy that he can do exactly the same with his wide players. Whether it's Hudson-Odoi or Dan-Odoi or, Dylan Backwell or players like this, real pace. They've got Gibbs White, who's excellent through the middle. Loads of energy. And we just don't have that. And if we play as openly, if the makeup of the team isn't right, we've got to force, in my opinion, Forest back. We've got to force them back. And I think if we play with the way we've played today, so deep at times, but wide open in the middle, I think we're asking for trouble. And then we go to Chelsea. Hopefully Idrissa will play in that one before they go off to the AFCON. And we'll need them, because that's a game. They're second in the Premier League, aren't they? Doing well, or unless City just gone above them, but they're in the top three and are doing well, so that'll be a tough game. And then Arsenal at home, and Arsenal are fantastic. So it is worrying. These next few games are worrying, the next four. And then it's Burnley away, which will be tough, and then Forest away again, which will be tough. So these next few weeks, we're going to all have to stick together, and the manager's going to have to get the players to be more difficult to score a goal against. Today was miles off it, but these are worrying fixtures. Could work the other way. This has happened lots of times. You're going in and you can't see anything. You're going, oh, I don't know where we're getting a win from. And Everton tend to come up with a couple of big results in those moments. That's what they're going to have to do, but they're going to need everyone pulling together. But the problem is, and again, this is will bleed into probably 0.3, 0.5, is they're going to have to spend money in the transfer market. There's not enough solutions in this squad, I'm afraid. Seeing Tyler Dibbling and Dwight McNeil come on, and neither of them really touch the ball. Dibbling more so than McNeil. Doesn't fill you with loads of confidence. But there's no goals in this team, in the squad. The strikers have got one goal between them. As good as Barry's playing, and he's getting better and better and looking more physically like he can cope with it, there's nothing happening between the sticks really for him. We don't have another one who can just get you the goal from somewhere. The full-backs don't create anything for us, either of them, and that's an issue. And we're light in midfield, so I think they're going to need at least 2 loans in January plus 1 or 2 signings, so and they need to get them done immediately. So there should be the problem I have is I don't have any faith in the recruitment team to do exactly what we need. It might be a little bit harsh, but and this is a new recruitment team, so we'll see what happens. In the past, we haven't ever addressed what we've needed. But when you look at Newcastle today, popping it off, and they're a good side, don't get me wrong, and they've spent a hell of a lot of money as well. But good players who move into space, knock it off, get it back, energetic, can get around the pitch. We're so one-paced, it's incredible. And we just isolate Barry, knock it up to him and expect him to do what with it, while we're sort of ambling up slowly. Jack Grealish had one before he went off down the left, and he's travelled with the ball, picked it up and set off with it running. No one come over to help me. I had 3 men round him. He ended up losing it. Nobody came near him. Nobody had the energy to get near him. So they're going to have to look at buying energetic players. They're going to have to look at getting goals from somewhere. Loads and loads and loads of work to do. And that's worried me a little bit today, I must admit, the manner, how easy it was to just break and score a goal. I thought the Spurs game, in which Everton were the dominant side in that, and yet we lost 3-0. We weren't the dominant side today, but I was worried in that, the ease at which they were under pressure, broke, got a corner, scored. We're under pressure, broke, got a corner, scored. We're under pressure the whole of the second half, broke and made it 3-0. Newcastle had moments where they're under pressure and broke and got a goal. That's a worrying thing to happen. So, work to be done for sure. But big games coming up, we need to stick together and grind out some results. There you go. Check out the match reaction stuff as well, if you can. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like, subscribe, do all that. See you later.